All right. Now listen close, y'all, because what I'm about to tell you is something that has been stirring up conversations all across the country. And whether folks believe it or not, the truth is that people are talking and they're asking a whole lot of questions. And today we're diving right into the middle of this whirlwind that's been blowing through town like a Texas storm because Candace Owens has stepped right into the center of it, and she's saying that she believes there is something deeper going on when it comes to Erika Kirk. And this investigation, now I want to make something real clear. Right from the jump, we're not here to accuse anybody of anything. We're not here to declare guilt or wrongdoing because nothing like that has been proven. And we're not here to say that anybody actually sabotaged anything. We're just talking about what's being said publicly, what's being speculated about, and what conversations have been making their way through coffee shops, podcasts, newsrooms, and live streams all over America. And Candace, well, she's been raising questions that a lot of people are now repeating because she believes there are actions, decisions, and timing choices that feel unusual, and she's asking why, and how it is when folks don't feel like they're getting answers, they start filling in those blank spaces on their own. So today we're walking through what's being said, the way the public is reacting, and what makes this situation feel like watching a movie where the plot twist keeps changing every 5 minutes. Now, Candace Owens, she stepped out and said she thinks Erika Kirk might be making the process harder than it needs to be. Now, again, those are her opinions, her perspective, not confirmed facts, but she says she thinks there may be moments where things don't line up. And she's asking whether the reason everything seems to be taking so long is because someone is trying to protect something or someone. And whether that's true or not, the idea alone has been enough to launch 1,000 conversations online, because when someone as loud and as bold as Candace says she senses smoke, a lot of folks will immediately start looking around for flames. And what's wild is the timing of everything, because anybody watching this unfold can tell you it feels like every time the public thinks they're about to get a clean answer, something else gets cloudy and people start wondering why that keeps happening. And Candace, well, she isn't holding back. She says she believes transparency would make everything easier, and that the only reason someone would resist full transparency is if they were afraid of what the truth might reveal. Now, again, those are her words, her speculation, her interpretation, and it doesn't make anything a fact, but it does explain why everybody and their cousin is suddenly glued to this saga trying to figure out what comes next. And here's the thing when you're dealing with high-profile people. The court of public opinion becomes louder than any courtroom could ever be. And right now the noise is deafening. And Erika Kirk, well, she's right in the center of it. Some folks are defending her, saying she's under pressure, trying to manage something chaotic, doing the best she can, and needing time to process. They say people shouldn't judge until they know all the details. But there's another group following Candace's lead, and saying maybe the delays aren't just emotional. Maybe they're strategic. Maybe something's being protected. Maybe something's being hidden. Now, I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying it's not. I'm telling you that this is what people are saying publicly. And let me tell you, the temperature in this whole situation is rising with every passing hour, because truth has a funny way of squeezing its way to the surface. And right now, the whole world seems to be waiting for that moment when everything becomes clear. People are asking why statements keep changing, why schedules keep shifting, why everything feels like a puzzle, where someone hid half the pieces. You ever watch someone playing chess, and they keep touching every piece like they're stalling, but they won't actually move anything. That's how people say this feels, and they're asking what's really going on behind those closed doors. And Candace, well, she says she believes the reason everyone's so confused is because there may be someone intentionally making sure confusion stays alive again. That's her perspective, not proof, not confirmation, just a loud voice raising loud questions. Questions, she says, need answering. And let me tell you, folks, the internet is eating it up. Thousands of comments, arguing back and forth, folks drawing lines, choosing sides, saying this whole saga feels bigger than anybody expected, and every day that goes by without answers, the curiosity grows. Now, maybe Erika Kirk is protecting herself. Maybe she's trying to protect her family. Maybe she's trying to keep things from blowing up even worse. Maybe she's trying to make sure the truth is handled carefully and not irresponsibly. That's a possibility just as real as anything Candace suggests, but when people don't know the full story, they start imagining the worst humans do, that fear fills silence faster than truth ever can. And Candace says the best way to put an end to speculation is radical honesty. She says the only people who fear the truth are the ones who have something to lose. And that message right there is what set off fireworks across social media. Because when someone throws a line like that into the conversation, you can guarantee sparks are going to fly. And the reaction has been explosive. People calling for transparency, people demanding clarity, people begging for straight answers that feel long overdue. And while all that noise grows louder, Erika Kirk has stayed relatively quiet, and that silence, well, silence can be interpreted a whole lot of different ways. Some say silence is wisdom, others say silence is strategy, and still others say silence is a sign something isn't right. And folks, when people disagree about the meaning of silence, that silence becomes louder than any speech could ever be. And right now, silence is echoing now. Does silence mean sabotage? No, absolutely not. But in the eyes of an already suspicious audience, silence can look like resistance, and that, right, there is the wildfire. Candace Owens just poured gasoline on when she said she believes something doesn't add up, and folks are eating it up because people love mystery almost as much as they love drama. And what we have here is both in full supply. Nobody knows where this thing is heading. Nobody knows how many twists are left. No one knows who's telling the truth, who's holding something back, or who's just plain exhausted trying to make sense of chaos. But people do know they're going to keep watching and waiting, because the ending of this story hasn't been written yet, and there's nothing more powerful than curiosity. Folks are wondering what the next move is, what the next response will sound like, whether the truth will bring peace or bring an explosion. And Candace, well, she says the world deserves clarity, and she won't stop asking until it arrives. And let me tell you, this whole story feels like watching storm clouds gather over a field. You don't know if you're about to see rain, lightning, or sunshine, but you sure as hell know whatever's coming is close now. The world is waiting, the pressure is building, and every second of silence is pushing people closer to the edge. And I'll tell you this, there's a moment coming when everything is going to break, wide open. Maybe it'll bring relief, maybe closure, maybe shock, maybe something none of us expect, but it's coming, and until then, the questions will keep flying, the rumors will keep spreading, and the tension will keep climbing higher and higher, because when truth stays hidden long enough, people don't just want answers, they demand them, and that's where we are right now. Candace Owens says she wants the truth. Erika Kirk may be protecting something important, or trying to find the right time to speak, or maybe just trying to keep something from exploding before all the facts are in. Whatever the case may be, the storm is here, the world is watching, and every decision from this point forward is going to matter more than any decision that came before. And one thing I know for certain, truth always shows up sooner or later, and when it does, everything locked in the dark has to step into the light, and folks, when that moment arrives, it's going to be wild.